Hello, everyone. My name is Shukri Harun, and to start off, I have to ask everyone a question. Who of you have ever felt like an imposter? Maybe you showed up to a job interview and felt like an imposter because you saw so many accomplished people who have more or necessary credentials than you have, or felt like an imposter when showing up to college and noticing or knowing that the people around you have aced their ACTs or SATs while you didn't. And that's okay. That's normal to feel like that. It's normal to feel like an imposter. But what I want everyone to do is to take the normal necessary actions and to control that negative self-talk, negative self-doubt that comes up with feeling like an imposter. And as my experience from being a child to now as an adult, I believe I have the necessary qualifications to talk about my experience on what it feels like to be an imposter. And as my part of my presentation, there are three things. One is this hijab. Two is this backpack. And three, oh, I dropped it. This is tax files. To start off with the hijab, you might be wondering why the hijab signifies or relates to why I felt like an imposter. It's because when I first started kindergarten, I came here as an immigrant. So I was wearing this hijab at my first day of school, and kids came up to me and asked me why I wear hijab, and I couldn't answer them because I couldn't tell them I wore that because my mom made me or my family wore them. So I felt like the biggest fraud of a Muslim at that time. I felt like an imposter or a fake. So after that day, I went home and talked to my mom and asked her all about my religion, which is Islam, and what a Muslim being entailed, what being a Muslim entailed, or what a hijab meant to me, my family, or my God. And so I came back the next day when I had all the exact answers, and uh, I told them the friends that I talked to earlier, why I wore the hijab, and in that moment, I felt relieved, and all those negative self-talk that I had about feeling like a freak or a fraud went away. Okay. Um. And then, and so the next object which I showed up earlier, which was the backpack. The backpack signifies central ideology or part of my life because as I said, I came here as an immigrant, and so coming here, I barely knew anything at all. I barely knew English, math, or stuff like that. So like when so and so what that meant is like when I took a test every single time, I would fail it because I didn't know what was going on at all. But I would obviously boast about it, telling my friends I did quite well, that I aced them, that I'm so much smarter than them. But in that moment, I felt like the biggest fraud or imposter because I was lying to them. I was lying to myself, and most importantly. And so what I did to resolve that issue is like I started going to tutoring, I started going to the libraries, I started coming to school really early, staying after school really late. So the next time we did a test, I got a B on that one, which was surreal to me because I never got a B in my life in that time. And so that's what I did to resolve my issue of feeling like an imposter or a fake at that time. And last but not least is the tax files. You might be wondering why the tax files signifies me feeling like an imposter is because it all started since COVID and 19 happened, lockdown happened, and since I'm 20 this year of 2022, this is the year that I filed my taxes. And since while I was filing my taxes, I felt like the biggest fraud or an imposter because I was pretending to be someone who I was not, which is an adult. I still felt like a kid. I still felt like I did not know what to do. I still felt no notion of what the real world looked like. And so I felt like the biggest fear and fraud because I felt like the government knew that, people won't knew that. And so I felt so scared at that time and all this negative self feelings and self doubt came up. But once I filed my taxes and talked to somebody, they assured me that's what an adult looks like and there's no need to feel like a fake or a fraud. And that's how the journey into adulthood is. And so now I would say feeling like an imposter is a normal thing and everyone gets into that situation once or twice or many times in their lifetime. And so, what I want everyone to do is take their certain criteria or actions or responsibilities right in front of them, and do them, so they no longer feel like a self imposter. So their own mindset becomes relieved, and there's no pressure on them. And so, in the end, that's what I want everyone to feel like. And so, thank you all.